Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to All About Healing, and it's time for Emily's Energy Corner. And I sound a little stuffy because I am. Because in Atlanta, it has been raining for 4 days straight, freezing cold, and my body just doesn't do well with that. So I always have a little bit of a reaction, so bear with me. Today's guest was Dean Sluyter, author of Fearless, Living Beyond Fear, Anxiety, Anger, and Addiction. And he has so much information. And, it puts me into this different place of thinking about each person, because his whole life, since 1970, he has been teaching on meditation. And he's like the real deal. He's legit. So he's not one of those people that's teaching some of these things and not living what it is. And you can hear it in his voice, and also in the voice in the book. He's groovy. He's very California. And to me, it was like, with certain authors, it's like going for tea and getting their information. With him, it was like going surfing and getting the information. And I love that, because he really lays it out, but so simply that you're not intimidated by it. Because meditation can be really intimidating if you don't have a teacher, or even if you do have a teacher. It's about the approach. But it brings me to my thought of the day of Emily's Energy Corner, and that is that I'm really finding so many people, more so lately, that are really trying to find their way in the world right now. And I'm not talking about all the disasters, and you're talking about fires on the West Coast and rain and snow and sleet on the East Coast. It's terrifying. It's terrifying, the natural disasters, the animals, there's a lot of things trying to find their way. But I'm talking about it a little bit different today. When we're trying to find our way, I'm starting to really align myself with a lot of really spiritually conscious people that have a message, and it's from deep within. They have a message they want to share. But how do we get to a place that anybody listens to what we have to say? And I'm going through the same thing. I have a message that I keep wanting to share, that keeps coming to me over and over. And how do I make anybody want to hear my message? Well, with Dean, he's just, everybody's listening to his message. He's number one on Amazon for several books. He's very acclaimed. He's the publisher is Penguin Random House, which I think everybody in the world's heard of them. They're the top, they're huge. He's got a lot to say, but he's been saying the same stuff, and people gather around because he offers something really special that you can use in your own life. But there's a lot of people that have beautiful messages, and how do we access them? And one of the things that I want to talk about is that each of you, everybody, way more than who's listening here, has a really unique and special vibration that is only yours. And all the information that comes through to you, that's yours. And you can decide to keep it or share it. You don't always have to share it, but if you feel this opening to share, please do so. Don't let yourself be blocked. And we can't let self-doubt be the problem. It cannot stop us, because these messages so desperately need to be shared right now. There are people all over the place that need to know, one, they are not alone. They're not alone physically. They're not alone out there in the world, that they're also understood. But unless we share our message, then other people don't know that people feel that way too, or that people can help you along that path to find a place of balance, of peace, of wellness. So somebody asked me that the other day. What is your message? If you had 5 minutes on a stage to give your ultimate message, what is it? And they asked it to me in a way that was assuming I would have to think about that. Oh, I don't know what my message is. But I shot off the cuff. I know exactly what my message is. I know what I want to say, because I'm also saying it. And it is that there is so much more hope out there for your healing, for your life, for your longevity, for anything that it is that you're looking for. There is so much more hope out there for you, for every one of you, than the average whoever you go to offers. I don't know if that's strong enough to really explain, so I'm going to do it according to health and wellness, okay? So if you don't have to be sick. You don't have to be diagnosed with something. But whatever's going on, if it's anxiety, or if it's depression, or if it's stronger than that, or if it's an actual body ailment, if there is something going on, and we go to not just our doctors. People have really gotten a bad rap on the doctors thing, and the doctors are there to help us, but they are there to help us with what their specific amount of information is. And that's not the same as somebody else that you go to for information and for healing and for help. So you have to go the distance to find out where you're starting from, and then they are not in charge anymore. You get what you have, your diagnosis or your foundation, and then you go in the direction. But it has to be led with the solid knowing deep down in your heart and soul that things are possible, miracles are possible, healing is possible, opportunities are possible, and hope is entirely the driving force. Without it, what do you have? What do you have without hope? That the right things will appear in your life. But if you're closed, then they won't appear. Even if they're dancing in front of you, you won't notice it because you have gotten to a place where you're not open to the hope. And I used to think hope was a really simple term. Hope. I don't know. People say it too much. Hope, faith, But honestly, hope is one of the most valuable offerings in the world. And everybody is entitled to have it. So I hope that you do. And not only that I want you to have hope as your driving force, that all things are possible, that things are available, that healing is so much bigger and more available than anybody leads you to believe. And I'm not sure why that is, but it's true. The hope for healing, that is my message. So if somebody put me on a stage and say, what do you have to say? Well, you know my story. My daughter has recovery from an autism spectrum diagnosis. She has full recovery from a diagnosis, and she did not grow out of it. She's only 6, and she wasn't misdiagnosed in the first place. We went to 3 different places. We know this. This is my story. Everybody knows this that listens to me, because I come back to this. Because for me, it was the teaching tool of, Emily, hope is available. Nobody's going to give it to you but you and spirit. So you have to go within and follow that route. Wherever the route leads, that hope is part of. That's the road you go on. Because when we did go and get the diagnosis, and when we did go and get the nutrition plan, or when we did go and get all the different things and see all the different specialists, those people cannot give you hope for actual healing. They can only give you management information, because that is their scope of practice. That's nothing positive or negative about them. They're in their scope of practice, and you're going to them for that. But then you have to go wider and understand that hope has to be the driver for you to find magnificence at the end of that road. So that's my message for today, is that you are beautiful and powerful and authentic, and you have something to say, and I really hope that you offer it. And I hope and I intend that hope leads the way for that. You guys have been listening to All About Healing. You guys make it a great week. I can't wait to see you back here next Wednesday.